Example 2, given the function f of x equals 3x squared and g of x equals x squared plus x minus 5, find the following functions and their domain. So first we're going to take f minus g. So that means f is 3x squared minus g is x squared plus x minus 5. It is very important that you put parentheses around the g of x function. And then when you subtract, we got to distribute all these, the negative to all these terms. So that's going to be 3x squared minus x plus 5. This simplifies to 2x squared minus x plus 5. Notice this is the polynomial. For this one, we don't see any fraction. We don't see any square root. There is no restriction on the x, so x can be, the domain can be all real numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. Next one, part B, f times g. So we have f, which is 3x squared, times g, x squared plus x minus 5. All we need to do now is just distribute 3x to the fourth plus 3x squared, times x is going to be cubed, and minus 15x squared. And again, this is a polynomial that doesn't have any fraction, it doesn't have any square root, so there is no restriction. The domain is going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. Next we have f over g. F is the numerator, 3x squared, g is in the denominator, x squared plus x minus 5. Now notice that here we have a fraction and we know that the denominator cannot be equal to 0. There is a restriction. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see what value of x will make that equal to 0. It looks like I can't factor this one out, so we'll have to use the quadratic formula for this. X equals a negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. B is a 1 plus or minus the square root of b squared, 1 squared minus 4 times a times c negative 5 all over 2 times a reduces to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus 4 times 1 times minus 5, that's going to be plus 20 over 2. That will reduce to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 21 over 2. So we can write this out as x cannot equal to negative 1 minus the square root of 21 over 2. And it cannot equal to negative 1 plus the square root of 21 over 2. So on the number line, we have a negative 1 minus square root of 21 over 2 here, negative 1 plus square root of 21 over 2 here, open circles at these two points, and then shading everywhere else. Everywhere else will be part of the domain of this function. So the domain is going to be from negative infinity to negative 1 minus square root of 21 over 2, union the middle interval from negative 1 minus square root of 21 over 2 all the way to negative 1 plus the square root of 21 over 2, and then union the third interval on the right side starting at negative 1 plus square root of 21 over 2, and then continues to go on forever to infinity. So this is the domain of this function.